Overall, Pergamon is a faction that can only really be played in one way, and that is to utilize its javelins to maximum effectiveness. And that really is its only strength, javelins. It relies so heavily on them, every other area is very lacking. It only has the very basic archers and slingers, its cavalry is abysmal, however... Well, actually, it's not abysmal. I'll correct myself, it does have hippeus lancers. But it has no swords other than Galatian swords, which is a low tier. It has no elite hoplites. It is purely built around its javelins. Does this mean it is a bad faction? No. It just means you know what you're going to be facing when you play against Pergamon. It's going to be a lot of a game of spears, lots of Phareos. Its cav is awful, so you don't need to worry about Sally. Its pikes are they only have 2 pikes, and they're the only 2 I'd ever recommend bringing. It does have a varied missile core, however, the problem lies in the fact it's all peltasts to the exception of 2 units. So you're sort of just stuck choosing, which peltast do I want today? And there's only 2 real clear answers, which I'll get onto when we go look at them individually, which is going to be very soon because there's not much to talk about. Pergamon certainly pairs well with factions such as Athens to provide better archers and slingers and that extra mid-tier core that can actually fight in melee whilst you get your javelins off. You have to bait your teammate when you play Pergamon, and unfortunately, sorry Mr. Teammate, you're gonna get baited. There's not really much else to say. It will struggle against factions like Sparta, because it's the only time I'd recommend like bring Spartan hoplites, because they could tank a lot of that pila because they have 65 HP as well as the 80 armor, so which for a mid tier is exceptional. And even on the royals, they can't do anything once they're out of javies. Tylus does pretty well because of the 95 armor. Then any faction that has the armor and HP to really tank its javelins and then beat the gamers in melee, and make sure Pergamon has to pick their targets. Most people think Pergamon, you just endlessly shoot javelins at everything, but you still have to use your ammo wisely. You can't be too trigger happy, otherwise you're gonna suffer in the late game. But yeah, we'll go take a look at them individually now. So we'll kick off with the militia hoplites. They're only low, well, not they're only low tier, but they're 2 low tiers. I don't recommend bringing them as Pergamon, whilst the hoplite wall is nice to try and get pila angles off, so you can sort of form hoplite wall. So I'll show you. Form hoplite wall, make them show their sword sides, so it'd be right hand shots, so you'd move them to the right, and then whatever unit is facing them, it would turn, like my camera would, and they would show right hand to unit like this, where it gets its javelins off. You can bring 1 or 2 militia hoplites, so I prefer the Galatian swords for the just overall more killing power and the less situational capabilities it has. It's more general capabilities at a low tier than a militia hoplite does. Though they are rather tanky, and like I say, they're good for hoplite angles. Not hoplite angles, javelin angles, which is essential to playing Pergamon. But I'd rather have the killing power of the Galatian swords, as they're probably going to do more for you than you would trying to create pila angles using a militia hoplite. Moving on to the Galatian swords, it does mix some of the Celts in the Hellenic troops. We've got Galatian spears and Galatian swords. Galatian swords cost 380 and are a more aggressive Celtic warrior with 5 less HP and a bit more attack and charge, and are always worth getting as Pergamon, defense and attack, as they are your only sort of frontline infantry, and it's a low tier and they can kill other low tiers quite nicely. Galatian spears I don't like. I know some people might, but I don't. Their melee defense is exceptional. They have cav counter, but they cost 440, and to save 60 funds, I'd rather get the Galatian swords. And their charge bonus are quite good though, and they do come with javelins, so they're pretty solid anti-cav force, because as Pergamon you do lack it. Though honestly, if playing against Saba or Parthia, I don't think I'd bring them. Pikemen and Levy Pikemen, the only 2 kinds of pikes I'd say was worth bringing. Levy Pikeman I think is too soft, but you can bring it. It's too squishy, not enough survivality there. The regular pikeman is just right.
Are we having a staring contest or a fight?
This is a review video,
Wine
sir.
always steadies the hand.
Sorry, one of the NPCs really caught me out there. Is it I'm having a staring contest or a fight? I'm like, okay, calm down. So regular pikeman. Sorry, let's train of thought. I'd bring, if I'm playing against factions that have a lot of missiles, especially on the infantry. But Pergamon, like I say, you can only play it one way, so I'd be more inclined to spend it on Piraeus or a gamer, or their picked or light peltasts, to play to its absolute strength. Like ODK, you play it one way. Doing this is very risky, because 600, that's another Piraeus you don't have. Two of them, that's 1200, that's a gamer and a Galatian sword, nearly, you don't have. So it's two pikemen or a gamer and Galatian sword can do more for you. It's really up to you. So yeah, that's my view on the pikes. You can, but only against specific opponents. Hoplites, I don't like them as Pergamon. If you are bringing them, I'd recommend bringing them one. I'd like them more than other factions, because, like I say, you as Pergamon, you don't really have frontline infantry. You can, once again, same concepts as your Hoplites, except they do better. Hoplite wall to get that right-hand side shots. So then I could have a Piraeus right there. And then the units would wrap around the side, pretend there's like a wall or a building here, because it's for sieges. And then you get sword-sized shots like this. However, once again, you're spending 650 on something that can do that. I'd rather just use my teammates' infantry and go more javelin heavy. A game of spears and Piraeus. So Piraeus, everyone knows what they are. Not the best in melee, good charge bonus, okay survivability, and it has the 5 volleys of 29 damage, 9 armor piercing javelins. The Gamer is essentially an upgraded version. From a price point of 560 up to 840, you gain 8 melee attack, a better spear, 2 more charge, 4 more defense, expert charge defense, 10 more armor, 5 more HP, and like I say, Gamer, 50 more morale and encourage. Expert charge defense only applies in square, but your core infantry is going to be the Gamer spears. In terms of missiles, I'll do the low tiers. Archers and slingers, they're good on attack and defense if you want that longer range damage. Don't want to get too many of them. You want to play to the peltasts, lights, and picts. I do like slingers more than archers. It just depends on the map. It depends on the map and what your needs are, because longer range damage is actually vital in some maps, such as Athens. Sorry. Dad walked in and gave me some food, so I'm eating that. 4 peltasts. Javelinmen, I don't recommend bringing. Bring the better ones. End of story. Regular peltasts, don't recommend bringing. For 40 more, you have the light peltasts, or the picked peltast is an elite one. Why? Yes, I sacrifice survivability, but I get far more killing potential, 3 extra volleys of javelins. Pick peltasts, I'd always recommend getting as many of these as possible. You just front dump a unit and you kill it. So if you get 5 of them with +1 rules, you can kill 5 mid-tiers. So I'd recommend bringing them all the time. They're so good and they're great in melee, and you can't really dump them other than with Balearics in the right situations. Moving on to Cav. Light Horse and Citizen Cav. Light Horse don't bring, because light. Citizen Cav don't bring, because it's medium, awful stats, but it can tank some stuff with high armor. Missile Cav, Tarantine Cav, and Skirmishers Cav. Don't bring a Skirmisher Cav. Very light, no missile damage, not worth it, because these are extra missile slots you're taking away from your actual good missiles. Tarantine Cav only good against like a full Saba Sally, because they can run around with the camels doing damage to them. And after that, they're semi-useful against the Skirmishers. They're unpredictable. Unpredictable. It's not predicted you bring this as the Pergamon. So, I'd recommend it. In the right situations. Or, you can go hippeus Lancers. I brought 2 Pergamonese nobles like an idiot, my bad. The only really good cavalry is the hippeus lancers. Why? Because the Pergamon is noble. On paper, looks okay, but it has 45 armor. Meaning, you breathe on it, it dies. It isn't good, but hippeus lancer, if you're facing against a full Sally, you can bring 2 of them, even. Because your units will not do great against Cav, as they're not super heavy, they don't have a static formation on square, which isn't great against Cav anyway. This isn't Total War Napoleon, as much as I like to think it is. As I am a victim of this as well. I will post army comps on screen now, an attacking one first, and after that defending one. Both will play to its strengths and lack cavalry, because it sucks, and there'll be a variation of missiles in both. But that will sum up for today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.